Hello, you have a prepaid call from
Keith Jesperson,
Bruce Davis,
Haddon Clark, Robert Barno.
What's your friend?
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Lighter Side of Serial Killers. I am your host, Keith Rovere. Tonight, we are going to be hearing from Martin Kipp. He's going to be doing a video chat with me from Death Row in San Quentin. His nickname is Dr. Crazy, although that's in his past. He's still a little wild, as we'll see, but actually changed his life around completely, mentally, even physically. You'll see some of the challenges that he faced growing up. Not just growing up, but from an infancy, and we'll hear some stories about that. Most notably, aside from obviously, the murders and stuff, he was a former cellmate or cellie of the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez. We're going to hear some stories about that. In fact, when people heard that he was going to be coming on, even the audio podcast, the most requested thing was to hear stories about Richard Ramirez. And we're going to hear some. We heard a few on the audio podcast. Kind of a different audience here, and I got some crossover for sure, but might be a couple of the same stories if you heard the audio podcast, but maybe a couple new ones. So without further ado, let's hear from Martin Kipp. How's your week going?
Yeah. Finally kind of got back into the, my workouts and stuff, but my back's been killing me, it'll be good. And then see, cause what I have, it spreads.
Okay.
And it's like kind of getting up in the middle of my back, it's like a constant cramp.
Yeah.
Right. So I take stuff for it, but yeah, it's just not, it'll just keep going, but,
how you been doing at nighttime? As you said, once in a while you said at nighttime, sometimes, you get a little dizzy, you hear, the kind of sounds and noises in your head a little bit. Is that still there, or is that kind of come down? There you go.
Yeah. But, just trying to do some yoga and, some stretching, and, actually the time off kind of helped with that,
Good.
Cause I kind of pulled my left hamstring, right. I'm doing stuff like that with my leg, I mean, I know it sounds odd, right? But that like stretches things out, right? If I tried just laying around and it gets worse.
Yeah.
But at nighttime, constantly shaking,
Wow.
I'll wake up, I'm shaking, like,
Yeah.
it's like, but, I'll work through it, but,
for sure.
Yeah.
One
But,
thing I had mentioned, you're coming back on tonight, and it's funny because I get the same question about it. See, hear your name. People always want to hear stories about the time you were a cellmate with Richard Ramirez. That's what everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
Right, that.
Yeah.
I was like, I told everybody, I was like, you got a couple good stories about Richard, but if you want to share a couple funny ones or any ones that you want, really.
Yeah. Well, the one I want to share is that, so, I'm in 476 here. 300 feet down the way is like 4112. That's where he was before he died, So, it's 2:30 at night. I'm watching TV and I thought, well, let me look out with my mirror, right? And I'm not going to kid you. I saw like 2 or 3 like dark figures, but they were like, you could barely see them.
Wow.
They were there and then they just went in his cell, And but see, here's what people don't understand. He would draw pentagrams under his bunks, and he would chant. And when I was in Orange County, right, I'd ask him, why do you do that? He goes, well, that's where I get my messages, that's where I get what I got to do.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, yeah, he said, I got a master, of obviously, and of the dark forces, And but anyway, getting back to, so I was looking out there, and he went in there, and then inmates would say, "Oh yeah, we heard some strange stuff over there, banging and stuff, you know." And uh, you know, so yeah, that's the thing that people don't realize, right? He would chant, you know, and to get his guidance, you know.
Wow.
He was way into that, you know.
Sure.
He tried to get me into it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He was in, you know, he pretty much Antoine LaVey, you know.
Yeah.
He was the seven keys, you know. He
Yeah.
asked me if I had to get, I said, no, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. I was young at the time, and, you know, I was just going through a lot of junk, you know, and just got off the streets really, and, you know, uh, was having these problems that I couldn't figure out, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, uh, and so I thought, and then I thought, well, the media is crashing on me, you know, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought, might as well just hang out with somebody that's, you know, and I just, you know, it wasn't a good choice, but
Yeah.
I just didn't really care at the time, you know,
Yeah.
and, but did I really want to be like him? Nah, not really.
Yeah.
You know, we just happened to, you know, just mesh a little bit, you know,
How did
but
the other people there, how did they view him? I mean, obviously he has, you know, a popular name. Were people like scared of him, or they freaked out by him, or in the prison facility, it's like, no, we don't believe any of that. We're not afraid of anybody. Or do you have like an aura about him? Like, wasn't that intimidating
well,
looking of a guy, unless you knew his backstory, you know, then maybe, but how did people view him there?
well, here's here at the prison, like nothing. They, you know, he was nothing.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
he,
That's amazing.
um, yeah, you know, in a county jail, it's a little different. See, uh, the media's there, and
Yeah.
you know, but even there, he was on my same tier, and he'd go to shower, and they were throwing feces on him and urine, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't like it, you know,
Wow.
you know, and he was, you know, fights and stuff, you know, and
Yeah.
arguments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they moved him from there, you know, and put him in like a high power thing, you know,
Yeah.
and uh, same thing in Los Angeles County. They put him in higher power where all the celebs are, you know, and stuff.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But they had him on 24-hour watch, you know,
Wow.
camera,
Uh,
you know, and yeah, he got, you know, I mean, he wanted to be bigger than a lot of these people, you know,
mm-hmm.
these other killers,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason he got that, you know, he
Sure.
even even today, I mean, it's just like,
Yeah,
you know,
there's still movies and documentaries being being made about him, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
and but like I say, you got to peer and see. When you get to prison, there's a code, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't cross certain lines. If you do, and here's what's his problem: he ran his mouth, see, and I
Oh.
would tell him, you can't do that, man. You know, I don't care. I'm me, you know, and I'm, you know, and so he's in. I'm going somewhere to court or something, and I see him in the elevator, and he's arguing with his cat. The cat he's arguing was what, like ranked number 1 in the world,
Mm-hmm.
kickboxer, right?
Oh no.
And he just got, I see a fast kick, and he got knocked cold,
Oh
right?
wow. Wow.
Yeah, right, just bam, right? And so yeah, I saw him up in his cell. I said, I told you, man.
Mm.
You know, I said, you keep doing that, this is
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen. You,
Yeah.
you know, there's people here that know what they're doing, you know. And you know, so we got put in a wrong holding tank, you know, down there, which happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, here come all these, you know, like gang members and stuff like that. I didn't even know that, and I just thought they were from a different county or something. And he started running his mouth, and
Oh.
they jumped on there. They're going to take him, you know, hurt him really bad or kill
Mm-hmm.
him.
Wow.
So I kind of jumped in there and helped out, you know, and uh, you know, saved him a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Because you.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
guess.
he got up here. yeah, and that don't happen, you know. You
Yeah.
gotta. There's a code, you know.
I'm saying even
And
for
he got
you,
jumped on up here.
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
you're a big, intimidating looking guy yourself, but I imagine even for you, well, you got 5 or 6 people on you at one time. I don't care how big you are. Yeah, you gotta
yeah,
follow the code there. I don't care how big one person is. You're not bigger than 10. You know.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is that's how it comes, you know.
Mm,
And it could sneak, and it's always that way, you know. It's not
yeah.
ever. Well, let's just go head up, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how it works, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
like when I say a code, kids, if you mess with kids, oh my
Yeah.
God, you know,
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. And you know, assaulting women, you don't want to do that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Uh, you know, so uh, and killing of family members, you know,
Oh yeah.
that's not good, you know. So there's that code, you know, that you
Yeah.
have to
Mm-hmm.
know. If you just run your mouth and think you can just get away with it, you know,
Yeah.
it, it'll it'll sneak up on, it'll get you.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen 1,000 times,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with a lot of guys, you know,
Yeah. Now,
you
you
know,
had mentioned that
it's,
like when you first got there, so your head, you just got off the street, your head wasn't really right itself. Can you take us through the transition from where you were on the streets and that mentality you had to where you are now? Like, what's the transition? What really helped you out? Help think better, get your mind right better, and be
yeah.
like, such a positive person that you are now. It's almost like you're 2 different people completely. I mean, what was it to you that really helped to, turn you around?
Well, on the street, I got these things, you know, that were affecting me, you know, and I didn't know why. I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't want to reach out, you know. So I just did alcohol and drugs to sometimes to calm it, and it would. But when it wore off,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what I was doing, it came back, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it just was driving me nuts, and and then I had this incredible rage, you know, and that that was happening in the service, you know, in
Mm-hmm.
the military, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, darn it, says I got 1 minute, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll call back.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, um, so uh, yeah, the one thing is I got off the alcohol and everything, and it's hard, you know, and it's
Mm,
still hard today, you know,
sure.
because I still got a lot of things I got to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I just start kind of cleaning up myself, and then
Mm-hmm.
I got into praying and meditating, and you know, reading the Bible, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, trying to really find some other type of spirit than what I had out there,
Yeah.
you know,
Uh,
and but yeah. When I'll call you back, I'll tell you more because we got 10
oh,
seconds.
sure.
But
Yeah. 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 It was get
my
involved
bad
in.
on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, call you right
Yeah. I'll
back.
talk to you in a minute.
Okay. So yeah, so I just start cleaning up myself a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like withdrawals,
Yeah.
you know. But I kept working out and stuff, and but one of the main things that kind of got me to where I'm more sound, it doesn't mean I don't have residual effects, because I
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah.
It, I start praying and meditating,
Wow.
and getting back to who I should be,
Mm-hmm.
as I'm working on towards now,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a continuous process,
Mm-hmm.
every day challenges, and you work on things, like when they transfer me to the next prison, probably I'm going to get into anger management,
Mm-hmm.
so I can keep things in control,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
'Cause yeah, that the rage was. But here's the thing: I didn't know,
Sure.
I'm watching TV, and like a year ago, and here come this thing,
Mm-hmm.
with the Camp of June thing, right? I was there for months,
Mm-hmm.
and when I think back about the things I was suffering with, um, you got to attribute it to something, and
Sure.
heavily,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I put it all together, and some things you remember, some things you don't,
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, I remember most of it,
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's just a strange trip to
Mm-hmm.
know that you were a part of that, you know,
Sure.
and never protected. No
Mm-hmm.
one told you, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, be nice if they put out something. Look, this is what's happening, you know, and so because I'm in training, right? I'm expected. I didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to better myself, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
And for those who
yeah.
don't,
So
know that story, why don't you tell a little bit about that? What happened in the military with the stuff you were drinking and things like that? How it
yeah,
affected
well, you
you on
know,
the inside your in your how it affected you in your chest, in your throat, and even mentally and all that. But what they were putting into you.
well, see, you don't know. That's the thing.
Oh,
You have to
then yeah,
think
yeah.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm meritoriously promoted out of boot camp, right? And everything's going well, you know. But there's nothing there at that, you know, place,
Mm-hmm.
MCRD, right? San Diego. When I get down to where my MOS, military occupational skill 3043, where you do your training, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it was Camp Lejeune, right? And I didn't know that this stuff was down there,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it wasn't long before I start kind of losing my focus, my motivation, and you know, I'm wondering why I'm getting headaches, you know, wonder why I'm getting anxiety and
Yeah.
depression, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, it kind of began the hearing of voices just a bit, you know, and uh, that uh, kind of towards the end of my supply school, 2 or 3 weeks, kind of got a place where my instructor said, "Kipp, you got to pick it up. You're gonna wash out of my class." You know?
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you know, I'm going through some of the things I told you, you know." And he said, "You got to suck it up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Marine Corps." So I did, right? I quit drinking, and I was able to manage with difficulty. It wasn't easy
Mm-hmm.
with all these things I start going through to get like top 3 in my class, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds good, but man, it was hard. It was a struggle.
Sure.
It wasn't I couldn't do what they were telling me. I mean, it's hard enough to be in the service and do what you're supposed to and perform
Mm-hmm.
without the chemicals, right?
Mm-hmm.
You add the chemicals, right? And you don't know this is what's happening. Well, you know, it's like, you know, you're sitting there like on an island wondering what the hell's
Yeah.
up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so I got to choose my duty station. I chose Okinawa for 3.5 years. I get over there and get into my unit, and then, you know, I kind of starting to have hallucinations, and the voices get stronger, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
all the things I told you start escalating,
Wow.
uh, and so, you know, I mean, it's a terrible thing, and you wake up somewhere and you don't know how you got there, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're trying to perform, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and but your focus and your motivation is like waning, you know,
Yeah.
and you don't know, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm thinking home about my pet family, like, oh shoot, I gotta keep going, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, it just so I did my time there,
Mm-hmm.
and I hated to leave, you know,
Sure.
so I got back to I did my 3.5 years there, you know, and it was a odd situation when I got back to the states, El Toro Air Wing, right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not open no more, you know. Uh, but that's where I was assigned, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the odd thing, when I got back from Okinawa, I went to Camp Lejeune to
Yeah.
wait for my assignment papers to be cleared. I think I was there for at least a week, maybe two, you
Okay.
know, again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I flew back or from there to El Toro,
Mm-hmm.
Santa Ana,
Okay.
El Toro Air Wing Base, you know. And yeah, I tried for a while there. Things just they just got worse and worse and worse. I mean,
Yeah.
I in the chow hall there, and just mean, man. I just don't know what, that rage.
Yeah.
And the military police were there, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get in trouble, but they're like, you got to slow down. So I
Yeah.
would,
Mhm.
but, you know, and that's when things just spun really out of control.
Yeah.
And, I find myself going to court and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's yeah, I mean, you remember some things. What I'm saying is that it's kind of frightening,
Sure.
because you wish you wish all that wasn't there.
Yeah.
I went in to have a better life,
Mm-hmm.
to make something of myself. I
Yeah.
didn't go in there to be exposed to that,
Mm-hmm.
because they still don't know how it affects everybody.
Yeah.
Some cats got cancer in a wheelchair, other people are this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's uh, yeah, they're litigating it. In fact,
Yeah.
I just uh, I just got something here. Yeah, from just look at it real quick. Yeah, so this is a firm that's representing me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read it later,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks pretty good.
That's good.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, my volume is I have like a 3-inch volume of military, medical, and psych records.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To support all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Um, but what I'm saying, Keith, is, man, it's just blows me away. I just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, wait a minute. Oh, whoa, jeez. Here's the thing. I can't say that it didn't heavily contribute to what happened to me, in service and then up here.
Yeah.
You put it all together and you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
you know, you know, it's, so I do things, I keep going, I keep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 66 now. I just turned 66.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so, uh, yeah, you just gotta, you know, buckle down, and
Oh yeah.
keep doing your doing, live day at a time.
I was going to ask you, actually, you're going. Well, you're going a little out of focus. You have to move. Just move closer for a second.
Oh,
There we go. So with all that, I
yeah,
mean, obviously, with all that heavy weight on your mind still, and then on your heart, with all the heavy weight on your mind and your heart, what brings you peace now? What brings you joy now? What makes you happy now? Obviously, not any disrespect for for what they've done in the past, for any victims and all, but for you personally, what gets you through every day? What makes you happy? I know some of the artwork you've been doing, which has been amazing. But
sure.
what's what like I said, what gives you peace and joy where you're at now?
Yeah, it's what I've learned is you have to be spiritual. You
Mm-hmm.
have to know you have a spiritual craving, and when you find that and work on that every day, you know, you're going to find your way. It's going to be different. It's going to be challenging. You know, but that's the real key. What a lot of people don't understand is everybody has a spiritual craving. When you can quench that and do it daily,
Mm-hmm.
prayer, meditation, your study, your learning, and uh, there's some things that I never knew about. um, and these biblical characters, they went through a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but they knew they had a different spirit and force guiding them. So yeah, I that's what I do
Yeah.
every day, 24/7, and you get from the spirit of the world to
Yeah.
the creator's spirit. And when that happens, you say, oh, whoa, really didn't miss nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you come in, oh, I got to go to college. I got to go to service. I got to do this. And then you realize, well, that's all stuff that you don't really have to do if you don't
Yeah.
want to.
Have you
You
seen
can
it?
just,
Have you seen it
well,
made? I mean, with
yeah,
all the people there, have you seen that faith in Christianity for you has made the biggest difference with people there than more so than like a class or a counseling? Do you think faith is one of the strongest things that really helps people out there?
Well, for some,
Okay.
because there's others that a lot of people here in a state of denial.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to live as they used to.
Yeah.
To each their own. That's how it is.
Or
But for me,
I should say specifically for those people who want help, like are really actively seeking
yeah,
it, and they seek faith. Do you think
yeah.
they find peace a little quicker than somebody who's actively seeking help through like counseling or a program? Do you think those out of the group they're just seeking help? Do you think faith
Yeah.
seems to be helping people the most?
To a degree,
Okay.
um, it's not easy to say, well, oh yeah, that's it,
Mm,
or oh yeah, this is, because there's a lot of things,
yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm doing that walk with the Almighty Creator Jehovah, but I'm also doing the mental health because
Yeah.
you
Very,
know
very important.
I want to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to make sure that you know, and with everything I've been diagnosed with, I'm just like, gosh,
Hmm.
it's not a, but I get through it, and yeah, so it's nice to get close to God, but you know, sometimes it's more of a personal thing,
Hmm.
and rather than one that you broadcast.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, I talk. Oh, yeah, it said it'll end in a
Hmm.
minute, so
Sure.
here we
That's
go
okay.
again. So
That's
I'll,
okay.
I'll call back again.
If you
I'll
can, yeah.
keep going as
Yeah.
long as
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
yeah. But it's like a personal thing. So I mean, I do talk to people about it,
Hmm.
and got a little group in our yard, and we study and we get some new people coming in and out.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's controversial too
It
sometimes,
can be. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
com- and conflicting,
Yeah.
when you do, because they'll say, well, why didn't you do that on the street?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know,
Yeah.
but, you know, I didn't know I had that thing,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah,
yeah, like, what was your
what I was saying is one of my biggest platforms, why I do what I do, is reaching out, to people, all types of people who maybe whom the world might think as, they're an evil person, they're a bad person, the prison system just punish, punish, punish. My platform is showing love and kindness and compassion because at least I believe that through one-on-one experience with me, that seems to go a lot further. Especially in a prison system, just punishes people, throw you in the hole for doing this or that. But just through
yeah,
kindness, love, and compassion, or guards who are focused on communication skills more so than cheating somebody horribly. For you and people that you've seen in your own experience, how does that go further for you? Does that go more of a longer way when someone just shows kindness and compassion and truly cares about you versus than somebody who's just, we don't care about you. Here's your 3 meals a day and that's it. And that seemed to be a
well,
positive thing.
you learn, yeah, you learn that system, you learn that those different things there and elements,
Hmm.
the categories. And obviously, one of the main things you learn is the fruitage of the spirit.
Hmm.
And yeah, that to a degree, everything you said can be that way. And then there's the other flip side of um, what I'm here for and everything.
Hmm.
The vigilante set, I call it.
Hmm.
You know, so yeah, I mean, of course, with most anybody, uh, kindness, compassion. Uh, it uh, goes a long, long way.
Hmm.
To recovery, rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And the more that you can rehabilitate, the more that I feel, you'll learn those things, and
Hmm.
want to be that way.
Yeah.
And most likely, the more you'll run into people like that. It's a lot. It's a lot about who your circle, and
Yeah.
you're, as I say, you're judged by your association.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I'm hanging out with questionable groups or people,
Hmm.
um, it's not going to go very well. you
Yeah,
know,
it's that
uh,
conformity. I
but
mean, even what the Bible says, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but renew your mind because you do. And any
yeah,
circle of friends, you end up
yeah,
talking like them, hanging in just the way you hang out with them. You conform to the people you're around. You watch a certain amount of
yeah,
TV. a TV show is one type of TV shows. You're going to conform to that style, or it makes perfect sense.
But at the same time, you realize when you start walking with God, you know, and His Son Jesus, that, you know, well, you may have to go lower yourself and be humble, and go to those type of people and talk to them to see if you can. Because see, we're all in debt to mankind. We're out to save lives, because time is short, So we're here to save lives. We're not here to, So you speak to everybody, and the truth in the Bible is for all people, not just this group or that group. It's for everyone, So when you can think that way, because they got the truth, or they got the truth, or this or that. Even if one does, and you still have to humble yourself. I like the word meek. It goes a long way because then you're teachable. Right?
That's a good point. Very good point.
And and people are always righteous. Well, all righteous means is godly acceptance, discipline, integrity, correction, and change. That's all that is. Right? But that's what he's looking for. See, he's looking for so it's not, oh, look at me, I walk on water now, and I don't ever do. It's not that, But I humble and meekness. A lot of people spoken about,
Yeah.
But I like those because see, the more you become like that, then you're going to be teachable, and then people see you do that, they may want to learn from you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, you're going to run into straight out no's and straight out this or that, and well, why didn't you do it on the street, and stuff
of course.
like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but it's like you got to let it be water off a duck's back,
Oh, yeah.
No.
Nope.
And that helps me. That helps me with my rage, that came from, I say, the chemicals, and a lot of other things, but because that was some dangerous stuff there, But I mean, so
now, what do you do? Like,
yeah,
if you feel those urges, the rage coming up again, or whatever happens in a situation, right or wrong, deservedly to get angry or not, what do you do now? Like maybe before you just maybe went with it, but what do you do now when you feel those urges coming up? What do you do to kind of bring it back down a little bit?
You got to suppress it. You got to have restraint, and you got to pray if it's really bad and meditate. But main thing is like restraint, suppression, because if you're walking that way, but don't get me wrong. There's times I have blurted out,
Sure.
I have, and I felt bad about it. So, your conscience, you don't want to needle it like that. So, you want to keep trying to, be humble, meek, and, it doesn't mean you'll let everybody walk over you, right? There's a way to talk, and present yourself, where, and that's what I like about painting, I learned a lot from painting and patience and,
When did that start? I mean, obviously, and I've shown some paintings online of yours, and I'll show some more. I'll show some more on here.
Yeah.
But when did that first start? Like, what made you pick up the paintbrush or a pencil maybe the first time? What was the first reason? Because you've only been doing it for like a few months, and you're amazing at it. You've just started. But what initially gave you the first desire to start the artwork?
Well, I didn't like it because I thought it took too much time.
Oh, yeah.
And I hear about it, and I'm just like, And then on top of that, you don't want to be a bad artist, So I thought there's no way I could ever do all that, right? But then I got into, I had to get into the mental health group. One of my therapies and one of my classes is, artwork, painting. So I went over to the art program, and on the monitor they got an orchid, and you could trace it, but I said, well, if I'm going to do this, start it, I might, because I didn't know what I was getting into. So I drew it, and it kind of came out good. And then I used colored pencils and stuff. And that's where it all began 4 months ago.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so I was doing drawings because I could draw pretty good, and then colored pencils. But then I thought, you know what? Let's do the colored pencils away and let's try painting. So I went to acrylic, right? Maybe oil once I get used to it, but I like acrylic, so for now. And that's where it began. And then what I just showed you now, that's been, but see, a lot of my relatives on a reservation are just drop dead freaking, outstanding artists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so maybe it's kind of in the DNA. I don't know. I can't say for sure on it, but I think a lot of it too is, I kind of prayed about it. I give all the credit and glory, honor to the Almighty Jehovah, and his son Jesus, because, that's who created me to have these type of things. So, and so maybe that kind of was part of it too,
Sure.
But and then learning to apply yourself and not take no for an answer. And just trust me, you're going to get all kinds of people like, oh, do this, do that. Oh, you're not doing this, and that's wrong, and, I learned there comes a time when you got to know when to stop painting and drawing. That is good enough, and, and boss it like I did this, and, let's wait for the next one. Let's see what happens on the next. So now I'm going to 18 by 24s.
That's what you were saying to me before.
Yeah, I'm going to go to next, and I made a new grid, and so we'll see how that runs. Kind of excited about it. At the same time, I know it's like, oh, you got to buckle down, but and then through my workouts, I do my workouts. I'm disciplined, and I got things I do,
Now, what kind of workouts are you doing? What's like your daily routine, or if you have a routine?
Well, let's see. So starts on Monday, and I'll do like 20 or 30 laps running, and then pull-ups, push-ups and pull-ups, and I do like that, these two like that, and that's that day. And every day is crunches, because of my back, I got to keep up just for support, so I don't end up in a wheelchair, And
but move a little closer again, just to get the.
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
And then let's see, Tuesdays, like before art school, I'll knock out my crunches. Every day is crunches and calf raises,
Oh, wow.
And then Tuesdays shadow boxing, squats and lunges, right?
Wow.
Wednesdays off. Well, not really off, because like I say, every day I'm hitting the crunches, so Wednesday, Thursday, and then now that I got yard on Wednesday, I'll do my I'll stretch in the morning, full splits and stuff.
Wow.
It helps my back, on my knees, and keeps them hopefully working, and then I'll and do my my kicks and stuff, my dynamic, and and then just get on the phone, and then Fridays, Thursdays is squats or crunches and calf raises as always, and then Friday I'll go out and do my chest and back, pull-ups and stuff, and then Saturdays off, Sundays off. Well, but I'm doing those constantly, hitting that,
Gotcha.
because I gotta keep a strong core to support what's breaking down back there.
Makes sense.
And,
I don't know about it.
I mean, it's like diffuse degenerative disc disease. It's spreading. It's not in one place. It spreads. And so, I just got to keep taking my supplements. And if it gets bad, I use a lidocaine pad. And the gel to calm it down.
Yeah.
That's it for the workouts.
Yeah. Now, you excited about? I know they're moving everybody off of the death row in San Quentin. They're closing it down, and then, do you have an idea where you're going to go yet, or what facility you're going to go to? Because I know they're starting pretty soon, and paperwork's being handed out. I know a few people there. They're going part of the first wave. But do you know any information about where you're going to go, or hopeful where you're going to go?
Well, 1 minute. So I can go. I'll call you back and go again, but if you want. But
sure.
In this, I went to committee and they said, "What's your first choice?" I said, CMC. And what's your second choice? Stockton. And both have really good programs. I've been here so long, so used to the set. And it's I kind of like it here. But the powers that be want us out of here. So so I'm trying to get the best setup possible. And get going on that. Whenever they. I'm last wave though.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, it is what it is, and you want to get where you can, where it's a program, and I'm going to go through a lot of programs because, I want to do well. I want to get in all these, there's all these good programs, art program, music programs, performing arts, anger management, a lot of good programs, so going to be very busy, and now I'm so damn busy, I'm finding a hard time to write letters, So I'm like, I got to paint, I got to put aside, and then every day is like that. And you're like, I don't even sleep anymore like I used to. I'm up at, 6:30, and I'm up all day till 10. And then I'm gone because, every day. Well, maybe Saturday I could sleep in. I hope so. But then it's hard to sleep in because they're not used to that. You sleep a little bit and then you pop up and go, But
it sounds like you'll have a lot more freedom. More freedom to go around, more yard time. It's lot. It's going to be a lot different from where you've been here. How long have you been on death row there? How long has it been?
36 years.
Yeah, I think it's a long time.
36 years. Yeah. And
not that it's going to be not that it's going to be like freedom or anything, but it's going to be a hell of a lot better. There's always a lot of anxiety, but it's going to be at least a lot more opportunities, a little bit more freedom anyway. So
it's like this: no cuffs, right?
Yeah.
And every day, let's walk down to the canteen and get a quarter ice cream. Oh yeah, I'm buying today. I know that sounds like something that somebody. Why is that such a big thing? Well, I ain't done that in years.
Well, tell everybody. What exactly? Just so people have an idea what goes on there. What is like a daily routine there of how you get cuffed when you leave the cell? Just give everybody a glimpse of what a daily routine's like there.
Well, so usually chow comes at first of all, you're in like a 8 foot high, 10 foot long, 5.5, 6 foot wide cell, right? And then you usually get up around 6:30 for breakfast, and things get rolling, when they start calling things on the intercom, visits, mental health, yard, my custody yard is Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and then the other groups have it Monday, Tuesday, and Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, out on, when I go out to the yard, cuffs, you run around, you work out, there's all kinds of games to play.
Now, are you cuffed before you get to the yard?
Yeah, you gotta. So let me explain. So I got a tray slot. I gotta have my stuff searched, and then you're good, and then you get cuffed. You got to walk down cuffed, and you go to a rapid scan machine. They run your stuff through it, run a wand over you,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, and then you're cuffed, and you go out to your assigned yard, which is about a 50 by 50 foot square, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not too big. There's 6 different yards,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that's for like that day, and then
Mm-hmm.
for mental health, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I put all my gear. We'll say it's art day,
Mm-hmm.
which is starts Tuesday. I put all my, my 18 by 24 now
Mm-hmm.
in my bag, and all my brushes and paint stuff,
Yeah.
that I'm using. Go over there, cuff up,
Mm-hmm.
go over there, till from let's see,
Here, move a little,
12:30
move,
to
move a little closer for a second.
2:30.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, you go.
12:30 to 2:30,
Uh-huh.
And then you get to walk back and stuff. It's and there's mainline prison out there, so you're among mainline prisoners. You're walking, you're escorted.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And yeah, you see them going to canteen, and stuff.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm getting, but a deep spot will be when I get where I go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be level two,
Nice.
low points,
Mm-hmm.
19 or something, and I have a clean record, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 0 write-ups
Nice.
ever,
Mm-hmm.
right? I I've been in a program. I'm respectful to the officers and
Mhm.
people, and everybody I work with,
Good.
because, well, I've been in the Marine Corps service that,
Mhm.
but, you still have to adapt. And there's good days and bad days, and you just roll with it,
Yeah, I'm sure.
suppress,
Yeah.
restraint,
Oh, yeah. I can imagine you need it there.
think. You got to think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always, yield,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um,
Now, do you find
know,
that, do you find that obviously, other inmates, can maybe start trouble, but how has it been for you, at least over the maybe past 5 or 10 years, with the staff? Or are the staff respectable to you? I mean, because there's some prisons where, they just treat everybody horribly, but how have they been to you specifically over the years? Have they been respectful to you? Since obviously you've been respectful, to them?
I've never had a problem.
Oh, good.
You may get one, or never had a problem because I just don't run that way. I
Mm-hmm.
already know the mentality. I already know the mentality. I already know the set.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm supposed to do. So just what I'm supposed to do, and if it, is not ideal,
Mm-hmm.
just go with it. Just go with it
Mm-hmm.
because, now I have filed 602s, and what that is a grievance form.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting for mail. It's really important. It hasn't got here. Where's that at? You know,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
so you get that resolved.
Mm-hmm.
But see, there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
There's a way to speak. That's another thing the Bible's teaching me is how you respond and how you react is important. And
Mm-hmm.
what you say and write, you got to be really careful.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, I don't mean walk on eggs and, eggshells, but,
Mm-hmm.
just be conscious of that.
Sure.
Yeah, so I have had no problem, I have no problem. Like I
That's good.
said, my record's clean because of that,
Mm-hmm.
But now I have some things break out, and,
Mm-hmm.
people overreact,
Mm-hmm.
The response is really high strung,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's it's another thing you have to prepare yourself for,
Mm-hmm.
and I just, I've been used to that. Now, in the county jail, it was different. I was just a incorrigible person,
Okay.
young, didn't care,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, it's. But I learned from, I said, that didn't work. It's not nice being in a hole all the time and
Oh, I can imagine.
getting write-ups, and thinking about your mom and family, and you call
Yeah.
them and, well, what's going on? Oh, yeah, it's all good, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
you know,
Was that a big
I mean,
adjustment?
it's
That
one
was,
of the reasons.
I'm gonna say is when you mentioned the county jail. I mean, what was the adjustment period for you like? Like when you first got arrested, when you first started adapting to jail, not even prison yet. How was that for you? I mean, obviously it's shocking to everybody, but how was that transition from being out in the world and into jail itself?
It's, well, number one, you want to be out on the street. You
Yeah.
want to keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, you realize, damn, I'm not free anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and like uh, LA County, you get in these 8-man tanks, and you know, um, you kind of got to be able to fight,
Oh
and
no. Yeah.
you uh, you kind of make it, But even then, there's different groups that don't care,
Oh wow.
because you carry your money. Then you carried your money bag around here, and you might just get it ripped off without even knowing, right? And then, you know, you're into something.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, it's you obviously you're just like winging it, really, because you've never been a part of this type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start seeing how things go, and you know, most likely you'll do like it's just get back into the same old thing you're doing, and
Yeah.
get money on the books, and like, but like $40 down there on canteen. I mean, cripes, you get a little bag,
Oh no.
It's even worse now. Like, $100 will get you a little box, and it's canteen prices. That's the thing. Here, the canteen is not bad.
Uh
You $100 will get you, a lot of cereal and oatmeal and
huh.
milk and coffee.
Uh
You know,
huh.
uh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's no joke in the jails. Because you got so many different things going on.
I can
And when
imagine.
you get to prison, it's more control, but you still got those things going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, it's just amazing to think back about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just keep moving
Yeah.
along. Moving
How
along.
how much
Any
of
other
it?
question?
How
Yeah.
much difference did it make once you have the tablets now, as far as communicating, as far as
Oh,
phone calls and emails, and now you can just email almost
well,
like
here's
text
the thing.
now, or talk to me,
Yeah,
or
well,
talk to
here's
me
the
on
thing.
video chat.
Yeah. So I'll give you so before they would roll like a payphone on a tier, and
Mhm.
you sign up, you get like 3 calls a week.
Oh,
Three
they bought
calls a
the
week.
phone. They bought the phone to you.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, and so you got to sign up, right?
Hmm.
And uh, and then if there's a lockdown like there is now, there's no phone, right?
Yeah.
But with the tablets, you got, as long as there's electricity, you got access every day, right? I can get on there. I mean, I got to carve out time for it, but
Hmm.
texting, calling, and you know, uh, you know, uh, it's like night and day,
Oh yeah.
as before, you know,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's a nice little thing. You got games on there.
Yeah.
You got music where the signal is just spot on,
Ah, nice.
and all these genres, because I like them all, like R&B, funk, Oh, they're
Yeah.
gonna end it, end us again, but
That's okay. No.
yeah, I think that might that she's gonna be coming, so
Oh,
that
that's
might
good.
be
Now
it
we
for
have
now.
plenty of time. That was great talking to you. We had a good signal the whole time. A little blurry here and
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
a couple cut out, but now we finally had the good signal.
Heck,
Well, there you have it. Conversation with Martin Kipp. I've known Martin for a while now. I always enjoy talking to him. We talked a little bit about his artwork. So I want to share a few pieces. I've actually shared the one that he was working on. This is like on a cloth. So you can kind of, big orca. That one. Let's see, show you a few of them. This is a really nice one. Kind of hold it from the back, from a distance, so you can see here. he's only been doing this for like a month or two. I mean, it's amazing how. So when I was talking about how quick he was picking things up, I wasn't joking. I mean, he hasn't been doing this long. When he had mentioned the, I think the orchid that he said, this is the one. This is it he sent me. I think that's right side up, right? Yeah. This one, that wasn't him. This one's really nice. Look at that. I mean, in a couple months, this is what you come up with. I mean, it's amazing what he did. I'll be drawing stick figures. Look like a Mr. Bill from Old Saturday Night Live is what I would do. And this one here. So that's some of his artwork. I said he does have them for sale if anybody's interested. Again, help him with some commissary and keep him encouraged on his path to get mentally stronger. Obviously, some things he still struggles with, as you heard. Whether it's schizophrenia or not, the voices that he heard. And chemicals, he's talking about the water and stuff that he was drinking on that military base. He has a lawsuit going. A lot of people do. How it just destroyed his insides. And he thinks that's where the mental instability started coming from. I don't know. I mean, no one really knows for sure, but that's something he's struggling with. But he's learning. He's trying to be better, trying to get better. Obviously, we all hope that somebody like him would have reached out to somebody back when they were in the world, before any of the violent crimes happened. But it's better late than never. I mean, again, even programs like this, podcasts like this, you get to hear from him. Hey, what has helped you? Because a lot of people listen to the show struggle with the same things, and you'd be amazed. People who email me the urges that they have. I'm trying to get, through me and through doctors and even some other people like through Martin. I put people in touch with, hey, here's somebody who knows what you're going through. And you'd be amazed how a serial killer from prison can reach out to somebody who's having those thoughts. You think, well, where can they get help from? Can you go to a doctor? Yes, we get people medical help too. But believe it or not, I know multiple people who are in prison, incarcerated, labeled as a serial offender, serial killers, who have reached out to people that I know out here in the world who are having some of those same urges. Again, part of what I do, I'm trying to help people in any way I can. But they're actually helping people from prison cope and struggle, where to get help, or now they're pen pals and they're writing each other, helping people out. They're not plotting to kill. No, I went through it. Don't be like me. This is what helped me. This is what stopped the urges from me. So they're actually helping. But as crazy as that sounds, they are actually helping some people. And through this podcast, hopefully, you can have some help too. It's something you're struggling with. Reach out to me. I can put you in touch with whether it's counseling, therapy. I've made a lot of good connections over the years. But again, positive reinforcement, encouragement. You hear how Martin was helped through faith, through positive, encouraging things, and but we wanted to be helped. And one of the ways, hey, if you want to buy some artwork from him and encourage him, let me know. Get a few bucks in his hand. They're all, not too expensive, $50, $75 here, there. So let me know. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the program. I hope we're all learning something. I'm learning stuff every day from these men and women. Hopefully you are too. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. All right. And until next time, see ya.